Hey everybody, welcome back to GPK Live. This is episode 25. Been about 6 months. So I want to thank everybody for actually still showing up. We're going to have a special guest tonight. I don't know if you guys have been paying attention in the groups. There's some really cool final art that's out there for sale on auction right now. And we're going to talk with the guy who got that, kind of get a little bit of the backstory on it. Super important piece to the Garbage Pail Kid community. So we got today is Brandon. He works at probably still Austin Books and Comics. Still
Correct.
works at Austin Books and Comics. Hey, no, and I don't know how much people know about the backstory. There is the very first painting was by John Pound. That was kind of the concept of Garbage Pail Kids. Names they've gone by as Juvenile, Delinquent, or Doll-Inquent. No. Or Trash Can Dan. It's supposed to have been destroyed. I'll let Brandon kind of go a little bit more on to all that. But in there are a couple other art pieces. But yeah, I'll let you. You're probably a little more organized than I am right now. I'll let Brandon kind of take over a little bit here, discuss the story. We'll kind of talk a little bit about it. If you guys have any questions, definitely throw it in the chat. I'm okay at the chat. As you can tell, I'm already behind. So, but yeah, put any questions you guys have in the chat and we'll try to answer anything we got for you. So, Brandon, I'll let you take over for a minute here.
So Len Brown, who was in product development for over 40 years at Tops, is a friend of the store. He moved to Austin to start a country music radio show, like old school country, old school, like 1920s type stuff. So he would come into the shop often and like shop, hang out. He got us a signing with Art Spiegelman years ago, back when he did In the Shadow of No Towers. But Len, I hadn't seen him in a while. He came in not too long ago and sold me a box of Donald Duck comics. They're looking to clear out space. I said, well, if you've got anything else besides comics, knowing full well, Mars Attacks, Garbage Pail Kids, who knows what he has, bring them in. So he and his wife, Abby, brought in like bags of stuff, bags and boxes of stuff. And I'm going through it and first I see like a Bazooka Joe original art. I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. And it's an old one, like from early 50s, I think. But they made a lot of those, so probably not worth a whole lot. After that, I see what I thought was, oh, cool. They made a Christmas card of the Wacky Packages art that inspired Garbage Pail Kids. And it had this little sheet of protective like paper over it. I pull it back and I just gasped. Because I knew what it was. I know original art when I see it, and it is the original art for the Juvenile Doll-Inquent. So I start freaking out because, I have followed Garbage Pail Kids all my life, and I knew that thing was supposed to not exist. And I confirmed that. I double checked. I look it up, and that's the story. So I start freaking out, and then I see like original art for Matt Rat and Buggy Betty behind it. So I just know it's real. I can't believe it. So, as a lifelong fan, I go into like kind of panic mode and I start sweating and just like put the art down, don't touch it. And it was wild. So at that point I start like, I call the store owner. I'm like, hey man, I've got this thing that should not exist. It's probably the most valuable thing I've ever bought at the store. And then we just kind of like try to figure out what to do from there, and, not necessarily let people know about it because we didn't want any attention for it yet. Because if it wasn't real, it's just gonna be real disappointing or whatever. But we eased into it and talked to the auction house. And at that point, when they're involved, they basically recognize expertise. I like to think you're expert as well, but the world recognizes heritage.
Definitely.
And it was just mind blowing because now they call it, a tall tale about the burning of it, because there's supposed to be Aaron Shore demanded to be burned on his desk or something like that when the Cabbage Patch Kids people started suing Tops. But it's here, and I guess my guess is that basically Len said, "No, I'm not doing that."
Yeah,
So are you in Austin, Texas?
I am in Austin, Texas.
Cool, that's awesome. One of the guys, he's not here tonight, but he's up in the Pflugerville, Round Rock area.
Okay.
Show. And I'm here in Houston, so
nice. Yeah, I just had a lifelong love of this stuff. So the fact that it landed in my hands was really cool, because anyone else would just not recognize it, maybe.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Everything I had ever heard, it was gone, and I saw that you had your post and I was like, wait a second, hold on, that's still out there.
So it was in the 80s that they were supposed to destroy this thing?
It was in the 80s, I believe. So like they were sued around the time the 6 series came out.
Yeah.
87, I think.
Yeah. And I guess the command was get it out of here. Anything that connects these to Cabbage Patch Kids, but I'm guessing they rescued it. Len said, no, we're not burning that.
Well, I kind of ask because I know that they have actually made a Wacky Packages. Like, I don't think they released it for the longest time, but I want to say it was in the early to mid 2000s. Maybe they did a Wacky Package run and had it in there as a bonus card. Now they might have pulled the artwork from, they might have had copies of it or something like that.
So I think that's a fan made thing. I don't know that Topps actually produced it. And if you look at that artwork, that's the one that says Garbage Can Dan or Trash Can Dan.
Mm-hmm.
There's also other small differences, like the text on the side of the box is like thinner than on the original art. And when I, being all excited about it, I rewatched the 30 Years of Garbage documentary, and they interview John Pound, and they show the art, and they show the version from the Wacky Packages. And I started, or not the Wacky Packages, from the remake thing, the one that says Trash Can Dan instead of Juvenile Doll-Inquent. I start freaking out. So I shot Aaron from GPK World a message asking him, hey, what's with these two pieces of art? And he said, I think he guessed like an intern just grabbed the wrong art from the internet, and the real one is the one that says Juvenile Doll-Inquent. So that was a huge wash of relief. Yeah, and it's weird because like on my phone was the best picture of that art for like 3 months. Because you look it up online, and like on the Wacky Packages page, it's very kind of like low res, and you just can't see like the fine details of it. So it was just so cool being part of that.
Definitely. It's one of those. Personally, I think besides Adam Bomb, maybe Nasty Nick, to me that's the most important GPK piece. I mean, I know honestly before I got back into it and really got into the groups and all that, I'd kind of heard of something but didn't really know anything. But getting back in, I mean, like I said, to me it feels like that's, even though it was never published, like it started GPK. And that's, I don't know. Like I said, to me, I think that's the huge. I mean, to me, Adam Bomb's always going to be the first. It's the iconic, what everybody thinks so. But just to have that final art, that's awesome. Kind of sucks you don't get to just keep it for yourself. But
I know, it kind of broke my heart. I was like, well, I don't have to tell anyone. But
yeah, right. Yeah, nothing came in this package at all. This box was just all garbage.
Yeah, just some old Mars Attacks reprints. No big deal.
Now, Ricky, have you ever done sketches of Juvenile Doll-Inquent's kind of what the name should be then, not Trash Can.
Yeah, I've never sketched that before. I'm familiar with it, and I think I did see some of the fan made stuff that Brandon's talking about that was reproduced later on in the early 2000s. But I swear there's a copy of it in like the GPK book as well, or something like in the front, just talking about, you know, it's the prototype primordial kind of stew of GPK, right? You know, it's that wacky, it's that missing link right between wackies and GPK. So it's a really cool piece, and that must have been exciting to pull the plastic off and realize that that's a you know, oh, I'll give you $20 for it, no problem. You know, but no, it's really cool. But no, I've never sketched that one. I should. It's I love the I love John Pound's pencil sketch version of Atom Bomb in Chrome 1 set. I think it's one of the first times I've ever seen that was in Chrome 1. That kind of like early Atom Bomb-y kind of feel and early stuff. I love the raw stuff. That's a good find, Brandon. I mean, obviously, I'm sure you've been told that before, but
It's
very cool.
everyone who's even just remembers Garbage Pail Kids is very like wow, and they're impressed by it, even if they're not into like these snotty little babies. They think that's pretty rad.
Yeah.
I can imagine though why it was definitely hush hush that he had it. 'Cause I mean that would have just given the lawsuit just instant merit. Like, oh yeah, we're done.
It doesn't surprise me they snuck it out though. I mean, just throw it in a box and get rid of it. Stop pissing the boss off. Get out of there, right? You know, that stuff happens.
Yeah.
Well, I guess Mark Newgarden probably saved his sketch because he's the guy who originally sketched it, and then John Pound like the final version of it. And I think a lot of the times in the books and stuff, you see the Newgarden sketch.
Yeah.
So because that could be reproduced pretty well, and he has it, I guess. So some of it got rescued, just not this one. Well, this one did. But.
Yeah.
Just nobody knew.
Yeah.
Now, the lawyers didn't know. So that's
that's all that matters.
That's the important
part.
Pretty sure statute of limitations are over at this point.
Yeah, we're good.